Bitter. Oh, he would love that. Yeah, just let us know when you're ready. All right. Hi, everybody. Everyone ready? Ready. Okay. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular board meeting tonight, August 21st, 2025. We are also streaming on the DPS 109 YouTube channel. I will be filling in for Mr. Kuo and running tonight's meeting as he's not able to attend. First up, in my capacity as Board Vice President and pursuant to Board Policy 2:220, the following limitations will apply to video recording at the meeting. All recording equipment beyond handheld devices must be used within the area designated in the back center of the room. Recording devices may not distract or disrupt board members or other meeting participants or members of the public. This restriction includes visual obstruction. I may require those wishing to record to adjust equipment in the event that members of the public are restricted from fully accessing the board meeting. Finally, individuals using handheld recording devices or phones must record from their seats or area where they are standing and may not move around the room, causing distraction unless I specifically give permission. If a participant doesn't comply with the above restrictions, I may direct the participant to cease recording or take other steps deemed necessary to preserve decorum and facilitate the board meeting, including removal from the meeting. Thank you. I call to order the meeting at 7:02 p.m. First up, approval of the meeting agenda. May I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
May I please have a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next up is the public hearing on the 2025-26 final budget. The purpose of this hearing is to seek public comment on the 2025-26 final budget. Pursuant to the provisions in the Open Meetings Act, notice was published in the local newspaper and was posted in board packet materials. The hearing is now open at 7:02 p.m. Hearing requirements call for us to ask for comments 3 times. Does anyone wish to comment on the 2025-26 final budget? Does anyone wish to comment on the 2025-26 final budget? And does anyone wish to comment on the 2025-26 budget? Thank you. The hearing is now closed at 7:03 p.m. Next up, public hearing, resolution of the Board of Education authorizing transfer of monies from the Education Fund to the Operations and Maintenance Fund. The purpose of this hearing is to seek public comment on the resolution of the Board of Education authorizing transfer of monies from the Education Fund to the Operations and Maintenance Fund. Pursuant to the provisions of the Open Meetings Act, notice was published in the local newspaper and was posted in the board packet materials. The hearing is now open at 7:03 p.m. Hearing requirements call for us to ask for comments 3 times. Does anyone wish to comment on the resolution of the Board of Education authorizing transfer of monies from the Education Fund to the Operations and Maintenance Fund? Does anyone wish to comment on the resolution of the Board of Education authorizing transfer of monies from the Education Fund to the Operations and Maintenance Fund? And finally, does anyone wish to comment on the resolution of the Board of Education authorizing transfer of monies from the Education Fund to the Operations and Maintenance Fund? Hearing none, the hearing is now closed at 7:04 p.m. Next up on the agenda is Stronger Together in 109. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you. This will be a standing agenda item, and we are looking forward to seeing students present to you in the future. But we wanted to share how we kicked off the first day, Stronger Together. So we'll just...
Kindergarten is stronger together.
Can't wait to be stronger together with our students.
We're stronger together with books. When we connect, we're stronger together. Más fuerte juntos.
4th grade will be stronger together.
We're stronger together. With art, we're stronger together. We can't wait to be stronger together with families. I'm excited for the year of being stronger together.
Can't wait to be stronger together with our new elementary math program.
Excited to be stronger and healthier together.
We can't wait to be stronger together in Deerfield. Early learners are stronger together.
We are stronger together.
Actively!
We can't wait to stronger together.
Here at Wilmot, we run as one. It's going to be an awesome year.
Woo! At South Park, we're stronger together.
We're excited to be stronger together at Walden.
Oh man, I can't wait to be stronger together at Caruso.
99, 100. Because at Shepherd, we're stronger. Together!
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathy. Next up is the superintendent's report.
All right, I have to follow that video. Not easy. So on the left, you see a red carpet. So congratulations to Danielle and Kathy and Becky and Jen and all the cast of characters that put it all together. It was a really, really great welcome and opening for us, and we had beautiful greeters at the door in the form of Tim Ryan and John Filippi and Dale Fisher. So opening the door and welcoming everybody in. A great opening speaker, Molly Kennedy, with her biceps there, known as classroom and management. And she was energetic. Yes. Yep. It's true. So she's a super bodybuilder, triathlete, all kinds of other stuff, and also presented that evening to parents and was really effective there as well. We had a number of board members that attended that. Thank you for coming. And so whether it be kindergarten at Kipling, or I'm trying to see who that is getting off there. That is at Wilmot on the bus, at Caruso, the math program with Kirk Humphreys, and then the entire Kipling staff there on the bottom right. Everybody has really done a great job of embracing the Stronger Together. We are off to a really, really great start. A lot of excitement in the buildings, which is wonderful to see. And a lot of folks around the table. I think this is a year where every single board member has kids that they sent off to school. That's an unusual thing. Yeah, how about that? Some more eager than others. So we're going to be learning and asking questions and then sharing relative to Redefine 109, the future of our facilities. We have 3 important information sessions and tours coming up. The first will be at Wilmot. There'll be a tour at 6:30. It's on September 10th. Another at the Patty Turner Center on September 16th. That one obviously won't have a tour included, but it'll be a presentation opportunity for questions and answers. And then on September 17th, the next day, we'll be at Walden at 6:30 for another tour and another Q&A session. As always, on all these things, folks that haven't been in buildings or they don't have a child in that building, it does not matter. Everybody is more than encouraged to attend as many as they are able to at all the various schools we'll be holding these. So these are the first 3, and we'll have a number of them over the course of the fall. That completes the superintendent's report.
Awesome. Any questions for Mike on that? All right, appreciate it, Mike. Next up, community participation relative to matters on the meeting agenda, policy 2:230. District 109 has 2 opportunities for public comment, where many organizations offer 1 opportunity. Our policy stems from the community's longstanding commitment to public discourse and representation. We take all public comment very seriously, and while public comment isn't a back and forth, but instead an opportunity for the board to listen, please know that we listen carefully. Our first period of community participation is solely for items related to the meeting's agenda, and the second period of community participation near the end of the meeting is open for all matters. If you wish to comment, please fill out a community participation form located at the podium and hand it to Rebecca Rudd here on the end, and we will call you up one at a time to the podium to speak. Please limit the length of all comments to no more than 3 minutes. Thank you. You guys find the forms okay? Awesome, thank you. Anyone like to make a public comment at this point in the agenda? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to the informational items. First up being 8.1, Freedom of Information requests.
Were you raising your hand?
Oh, I'm so apologizing. I didn't see the hand. Is it related to members, items on the agenda? John? Okay. Either way, I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, I apologize. Next up, Freedom of Information requests. Dr. Flippy.
Yeah, there are 4 in your packet. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to policy first reading 8.2. And that goes to Dale.
Last month, we had a policy committee meeting led by Dr. Dornfeld, and what you have in front of you is the recommendations that we followed in regard to press's release of updates to those policies. You'll probably notice a lot of them are in response to changes to Title IX based off of the case out of Tennessee versus Cardona, which reverted back to 2020 Title IX policies, et cetera. So many of the policies are updated in reflection of that. I'll entertain any questions you have.
I do have one related to the AI language. There's an addition of develop a district-wide AI plan that addresses the district's approach to integration of AI.
Yep.
Is there a timeline associated that press recommends?
As the year progresses, it's been outlined in the policy that Superintendent Simic will work with us to establish what that timeline would look like.
Okay.
We're only charged with creating the policy or including the policy that we would create a plan to do that.
Okay, but it
So
doesn't
nothing
include
exists right
dates.
now.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Other questions, Rosie?
Yeah, are there current guidelines in place for AI at all?
As a district, we have guidelines and procedures that.
For like, I guess for staff and like maybe for staff and students, I mean, but
I can speak.
I would
to
defer to Danielle on the student piece.
Yeah, so we actually have included for the first time a philosophy statement around AI in our instructional handbook. Now, as part of Google for Education platform, there is an embedded AI tool in that is accessible to our staff. So we're first using it with staff to familiarize ourselves with it, learn how it can make our work more productive, more efficient, et cetera, but then anticipating the potential for being able to roll that out to middle school students at some point. We are right now in pursuit of looking at different tech organizations to potentially come in and work with a team at Deerfield High School or Deerfield 109 to help us generate a full-blown plan for its implementation in our system.
In specific to staff, our AUP covers all technology usage, but because of the ever-changing nature of AI, that's the whole reason that this is being put in place, is to create a specific AI plan.
Any other questions for Dale and the policy committee? All right, fantastic, thank you. Next up, item 8.3, Stronger Together resolution. I'll turn this over to Kate Joyce to read the resolution aloud and sign on behalf of the board.
Thank you, Kelly. So we have a resolution I'm going to read in support of Stronger Together Deerfield. Whereas Stronger Together Deerfield is a collaborative, community-wide initiative bringing together local government, schools, municipal and civic organizations, businesses, nonprofits, and other partners to promote well-being, resilience, and connection for all residents. And whereas the initiative aims to address growing concerns about youth mental health, social connection, digital balance, and resilience through shared messaging, coordinated efforts, and community engagement. And whereas Deerfield Public Schools District 109 recognizes that fostering emotional resilience, social skills, and academic success in our young people requires a united, community-wide approach. And whereas we believe that by working together across sectors, we can create stronger connections and better support for children, families, and the broader Deerfield community. Now therefore, be it resolved that Deerfield Public Schools District 109 affirms its support for the Stronger Together Deerfield initiative, and commits to taking the following actions during the 2025-2026 school year to help advance its goals. Number one, launch the Let Grow program in elementary schools to foster independence and resilience in students. Number two, provide targeted professional development for staff to strengthen practices that build student resilience, social emotional skills, and digital balance. 3, offer a series of family programming to equip parents and caregivers with strategies to support children's academic, social, and emotional well-being. 4, coordinate work and communication with community partners to align initiatives that promote student growth, success, and well-being. And 5, investigate opportunities to expand access to and utilization of wraparound services for children and families in the community. Be it further resolved that Deerfield Public Schools District 109 will work in partnership with other Stronger Together Deerfield participants to share resources, coordinate communications, and contribute to a unified community that promotes resilience, well-being, and belonging. Adopted this 21st day of August, 2025, by the District 109 Board of Education.
Thank you, Kate. Mike?
Yeah, a few additional words. The village, the park district, West Deerfield Township, the library, the chamber have already joined in on this initiative. And one of the things that we're looking to do with this, and I'd like to thank Kathy Kajijian for the umbrella concept and also for spearheading the movement to get all of the various entities to join in, and then specifically state these are the things that we can anticipate doing in the coming year. The idea is that it would not be just an administratively led effort, but that the governing bodies would join in as well. And then there'd be public commitments on actions that we would be taking. So last year, everybody can remember the conversations we had around the anxious generation. This is very much an outgrowth of that, and the recognition across the entire community that there's a similar level of struggle among all of the entities, and then what can we do to band together, and this is the umbrella concept for that. There's an additional thing that District 113 will be doing that is, I just learned of last night from Dr. Holland, Superintendent at District 113. Mark Brackett, this is relative to number 3, offering a series of family programming. This is in addition to the things that we might offer here, but the District 113 and the FAN network will be bringing in Mark Brackett, who is a leading social emotional well-being researcher and presenter, and he's done a lot of work with the district, and also he works nationally. Our former board member, Andy Morrison, his significant other, Karen Nemi, leads the organization that is part of his work at Yale University. So he's a really, really knowledgeable and effective speaker. I encourage everybody to come. He'll be at either 6:30 or 7, probably at Highland Park High on October 29th. And so look forward to seeing the other entities that we have. Again, the village, the park district, West Deerfield Township, the library, and the chamber. And then others joining as they are able to pass resolutions similar to this. And then we should be seeing and hearing about this across the community.
Quick question with the reference to what District 113 is doing. Does those emails go to 109 parents if they're hosting an event to the?
We will, this is part of their
Okay.
support of this
Great.
initiative. They will send them to us, and we'll make sure that all
Awesome.
of our parents have access to them.
Thank you. Any other questions on the resolution? Rosie?
Is this shared somehow across all sort of schools so that parents will read it as well?
This resolution, it will be in board briefs, which will be sent out by Monday, so it will, and we'll have it on our website, the Stronger Together section, and this will be featured on it.
Okay, thank you, Kate, for reading that. Next up, 8.4, Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, Lead Adaptive PE Teacher Stipend.
In front of you is this memorandum of understanding that is resulting from the resignation of our former adaptive PE teacher, Mr. Goldberg. Through consultation with the bargaining unit for the certified staff, DEA, we came up with this concept of rethinking how we are looking to observe and track and maintain adaptive PE goals. So the idea of identifying a lead adaptive PE teacher for each of the schools came into fruition, and at this point, Joanne and I have worked to identify a lead adaptive PE teacher for each of the 6 schools. So we're just looking for the board to make a determination if we want to move forward with this, and it's up for action at the end of the meeting. Any questions?
Does the lead PE teacher at each building, do they receive any additional training?
Yes, so we've been, all of our PE teachers are, we're meeting with them to make them familiar with the student goals, but we are specifically setting up ongoing meetings throughout the year with the lead teachers.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions for Dale? Okay, thank you. Next up, item 8.5, consideration and recommendation regarding a resolution and a petition for withdrawal from True North Educational Cooperative 804, filed by Northbrook District 27, Northbrook Glenview District 30, and Bannockburn District 106. Mike?
There's been a great deal of conversation, any number of meetings, and then any number of subcommittee and then sub-subcommittee meetings relative to the future of the cooperative. At this point, it does not look like the cooperative will be dissolving. I think it'll be reconstituting and reforming in some way. Nonetheless, we have 3 petitions in front of us for withdrawal. District 27 for withdrawal in 2027, District 30 the same in 2027, Bannockburn District 106 represented by the same council as 109. They are petitioning, as are we, to withdraw in 2026. I would say that it remains in a state of flux. However, because we have the obligation to take some form of action on this, I recommend that we approve their requests regarding the withdrawal from True North, and we'll see what happens. I think in all likelihood it'll be sometime October or November when there will be a additional decision making relative to our disposition on the future in the co-op.
Any questions on 8.5?
Just, Mike, did those groups vote on us affirmatively or negatively, do you know?
27, we received something from 27. I believe we received something from 30 as well. I'm going through a mental list here.
We did from 30, for sure.
Yeah. And 106 as well. Did we receive from them? Yeah, we received affirmative votes from each of them, I believe.
Not, 30 was a no.
30 was a no?
27, I don't know that we received yet.
So 30 was a no, and they're asking us to approve their exit.
Correct.
Okay.
I think that some of the districts we might see no votes from, it's specifically related to our timeline of a 2026 exit.
So do they provide that feedback saying, hey, you've submitted this and this is your timeline, and we're saying no?
In one
because?
instance, we received that, but the person that we heard it from said, this is a common concern. We're asking, the bylaws state that 18 or 24 months is the typical exit. We're looking at a 12-month exit.
Okay.
So that's, as far as we hear off the record, it's not part of their resolution. If our timing were different, we might have a very different reception.
Okay, thanks.
Those no votes are most likely.
Sorry, Rick, someone could hear.
And those no votes are most likely linked to the bylaws, but also because they would most likely be saddled with some extra money for that 27 year if we exit on 26.
Potentially, yes. We have not heard that latter part. It's been relative to the timeline.
Any other questions for Mike on 8.5? Okay, then we're going to move on to our, I'm sorry, please go ahead.
I was just thinking as we're going, if we vote yes on, and everybody gets a yes vote, we already received a no, so we're going to be in that conflict resolution phase
are we at a disadvantage because we're in the conflict resolution and maybe 30 gets all yeses, so they're out of having to deal with the ramifications of those that got no's?
It's a little bit of a mixed bag because if there is a dissolution, they would be exiting in '27. We would be attempting to exit in '26. And while there might be, so that year of that additional year, you don't know what sort of financial obligations that there might be entailed in that. So potentially, yes, to the question, but nothing is really, really clear at this
So in
point.
your view, there's no downside to voting yes to all these to us?
I don't see a downside, particularly because I anticipate that we're going to have a favorable hearing on our non-consensual withdrawal. We are generally considered by the members of the co-op the most able to serve all of our students. I think this year we're going to have, at this time, we have one
student
at the co-op. And so we can make a very straight-faced argument that we are serving our children, we'll be able to serve our children. And that gives me greater optimism that our exit, if we so chose, could be in '26, where the folks that we're voting on, other than Bannockburn, would be in '27. So it's really probably not going to be our problem.
And I apologize, I misspoke. District 30, we believe, was a yes vote. District 29 was the no vote that we recently received. So, sorry for that.
29, yeah, 29, right. That was Sunset, yeah.
Thanks.
And I got, oh, sorry.
Please.
So we already voted no on how many? 1, 2?
2.
And now we're changing kind of the recommendation. I know it's not what we're asking today, but do we go back and change those?
We could.
If our reasoning has changed and we're feeling wiser now than we were when we
Right.
made those?
Yeah, we could certainly look into that and consider whether that would be the thing to do. I think at the time, the circumstances certainly have changed a great
100%.
deal. Right.
New information.
Yeah, we will get back.
Thank you, Mitch. Write this down.
I have a question.
Yep.
And my question is, I've been trying to understand a lot of like True North over the last, 2 years. And like, I understand their services, it's a membership, right, is the best way to put it. The districts who are looking to remain and the districts who need the services, is there a similar type of organization that, should this eventually dissolve, that these services exist at a state level, at a different level? I'm trying to think of the students that this will eventually impact.
Yeah, I think the two, from my understanding in my meetings with my colleagues, the big areas of concerns are students who are currently placed at North Shore Academy Elementary, middle, and high school. There are other therapeutic day schools that are separate from a co-op. And sometimes, just like other districts who aren't members of True North, sometimes they'll accept placement at NSA. I know some districts can place at a school in CEDAL. It's not, guaranteed placement. It's a more expansive process. So I know districts who have a higher number of kids at North Shore Academy, it's certainly a concern for them. There are other placements, but that's one of the priorities, as well as districts who the majority of their related service providers, OTs, PTs, speech, they're contracting from True North. So if those districts don't have those staff members on their district staff, that's a significant concern because those are hard to fill positions.
All right, anything else? All right, appreciate it. Next up, action items. 9.1 consent agenda. 9.1.1 approval of meeting minutes, policy 2:220. 9.1.2 personnel. 9.1.2.1 resignations and retirements, policy 5:210. 9.1.2.2 leave of absence, policy 5:250. 9.1.2.3 employment of certified staff, policy 5:200. 9.1.2.4, employment of educational support staff, policy 5:280. 9.1.2.5, employment of at-will staff, policy 5:270. And 9.1.3, bills for payment, policy 4:80. May I please have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Becky. Next up, Treasurer's Report 9.2. May I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo.
Thank you. Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up, 9.3, Stronger Together Resolution. May I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
May I please have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo.
Aye.
And I think,
Oh, please. Does Kate get an oversized pen and like a big placard?
We can grab it.
We could have gotten the pencil from Kindy Roundup. Yeah. She doesn't have a long enough name.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Kate.
Ay, ay, ay.
That's pretty fun. All right, thank you. Item 9.4, Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, Lead Adaptive PE Teacher Stipend. May I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 9.5, consideration and action regarding a resolution and a petition for withdrawal from the True North Educational Cooperative 804 filed by Northwick District 27. May I please have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to approve the resolution regarding the proposed withdrawal? Am I doing it wrong already?
No, it's
Okay, sorry.
a little easier this time.
I know. Yeah, last time it was like, what?
We are approving Mike's recommendation.
Yeah, so right now, may I have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to approve, say yes to, the resolution regarding the proposed withdrawal of School District 27 from the True North Educational Cooperative 804? May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Joyce?
It has to start with me. Aye. Aye, right?
Yes.
That's, we're recommending.
Mike is
Thank you.
recommending that we approve.
Aye.
Thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. It'll be easier this time, Kate. Consideration and action regarding a resolution and a petition for withdrawal from True North Educational Cooperative 804 filed by Northwick Glenview District 30. This is item 9.6. May I please have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to approve the resolution regarding the proposed withdrawal of School District 30 from the True North Educational Cooperative 804?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And last up for this round of them, 9.7, consideration and action regarding a resolution and a petition for withdrawal from the True North Educational Cooperative 804 filed by Bannockburn District 106. May I please have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to approve the resolution regarding the proposed withdrawal of School District 106 from the True North Educational Cooperative 804?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 9.8, approval of regular meeting minutes from July 24th, 2025. May I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
May I please have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Bonner?
I wasn't here, so I abstained.
So abstain? Yes, okay.
Yes, abstain.
Thank you.
Yes.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 9.9, it's a trick question. Of course, you're up first. 9.9, final 2025-26 budget. May I please have a motion to approve the final 2025-26 budget?
So moved.
May I please have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Nice job,
All right, John.
Budget approved.
Next up, item 9.10, resolution providing for the transfer of funds of the district to pay a portion of the debt service on the outstanding general obligation limited school bonds, Series 2013, and general obligation limited school bonds, Series 2015, and general obligation limited school bonds, Series 2019. May I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Mr. Muriv?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next up, item 9.11, resolutions of the Board of Education authorizing transfer of monies from the Education Fund to the Operations and Maintenance Fund. May I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
May I please have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Mr. Muriv?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
And Vice President Giacomo?
Aye. Thank you.
Motion carries.
Last up on action, item 9.12, resolution of the Board of Education directing the school treasurer to transfer money from the Operations and Maintenance Fund to the Capital Projects Fund. May I please have a motion to approve?
So moved.
May I please have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Muriv?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
Ms. Giacomo?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Ms. Joyce.
Aye.
I'm supposed to do
Okay.
you last. And Vice President Giacomo?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Next up, item 10, committee reports. Oh, boy. Okay. I had a True North board meeting last night that went significantly longer than this meeting. I think I got home a little after 11:30 last night. I want to highlight a few of the things that were talked about. On a very, very positive note, we approved the contracts for the 2 new interim superintendents for True North for the 2025-26 school year, Dr. Jimmy Gannell and Mr. James Nelson. They're coming off of a recent interim superintendency or interim executive directorship at SACED, which is the Special Education Cooperative of DuPage. And they come with both extensive special education and cooperative experience. So we're very excited to welcome them aboard and utilize them for this upcoming school year. So that was that exciting part. And then we had a presentation by a number of different superintendents representing districts across the cooperative region, both on dissolution and reorganization options for True North to contemplate. And I'm just going to highlight a few of the things and then open it up for questions. As far as the what has led to potential dissolution reorganization, they're referencing the fact that districts have built internal capacity to serve students with special needs, and that costs to some districts have greatly outpaced services used. So those are some of the highlights as to why this work has begun. As far as the dissolution pathway, obviously a full dissolution means that True North would no longer exist as a special education joint agreement. The dissolution pathway at this time contemplates a 3-year dissolution with closure at the end of the 27-28 school year. And then they have a 3-year timeline, this year remaining untouched, next year a wind down, and the final year just sale of the property and accounting for assets and debts. Through the work that the dissolution subcommittee worked on over the summer, the subcommittee, there's an onion, began to recognize, there were several districts that voiced recognition of the fact that maybe dissolution isn't actually what they would want, and that their districts rely on True North programming and services to best serve their learners. And so they have suggested that we contemplate an additional pathway option at this time, which is a reorganization of the cooperative. So most of the presentation and the time last night was focused on this reorganization opportunity. It would mean that some member districts withdraw and some member districts remain in a smaller cooperative. And then a couple of highlights of the reorg. We'll be exploring a financial model that is supported by EBF funding and then potentially tuition only for member districts in FY27 and beyond, and addressing facilities and assets. And then there's a really important work that would likely have to happen to the Articles of Agreement. For the governance structure, examine effective governance structures for cooperatives that ensure more input from member superintendents and critical administrators, and address early departing members. Need to account for districts that have previously withdrawn and those attempting to withdraw in 1 year. Long-term for reorganization, address later departing members and a fair and equitable exit for both member districts and the remaining members of the cooperative. Right-size any payments by withdrawing districts to account for asset retention by smaller cooperative, and propose new bylaws that would address the desire for new districts to become members. And then next steps, we are going to be having a special leadership council meeting in September to be given information on both potential dissolution and reorganization pathways that then I would bring back to everyone for contemplation. And the intention would be is that at our next special meeting, which is likely end of September, beginning of October, that each member district would state their intent to either continue to request dissolution, desire to stay in a reorganized cooperative, or we will support the reorganization, but we're still withdrawing. So it's sort of a three-pronged road. I'm opening up for questions. I may not have a lot of answers. Every time there's a presentation on something, we often find that there's 20 times more questions than we have answers, but people are putting in a significant and extraordinary amount of work. In fact, the presenters last night, most of them had students starting school today. So they're superintendents of their district, putting in all this extra time and work for this. So we're appreciative of that. So any questions or comments?
Do they have a timeline of their goals of getting to those three paths?
Yeah. Yes. The vote at our board meeting last night was to schedule a special meeting no sooner than September 15th, but no later than October. So in theory, that would mean by mid-September, they would be coming to us with what we hope would be enough information to make a contemplative decision.
Sorry, when you say we, you're meaning all districts or?
So right now, that's a good question. Right now, District 34 is the only district that has been granted withdrawal from the cooperative, which is set for July 1st, 2026. All other districts are currently members and are in different statuses of their withdrawal processes. Some districts like ours have moved a little faster. Other districts have just notified of intent. The remaining districts would have to determine if they're keeping their withdrawal paperwork in and therefore pursuing the withdrawal pathway, or if they're rescinding their withdrawal. Because at this time, all 18 districts have put in for withdrawal. So any district contemplating the reorganization would have to rescind their withdrawal. And again, that's where it continues to fork in the road. Kate?
And is the expectation
sorry.
that, is the expectation that the decisions that True North is asking the districts to make in this September, October meeting, are those going to be like binding in a sense? You're either choosing to stay in or you're choosing to dissolve, and you can't continue to change that decision?
That is not the intention of that meeting, but it's close. So the intention is for the districts to, in the best faith possible, state a pathway, because the work can't continue if districts can't make decisions. But it is not the legally binding vote of, yes, we're dissolving, this is a legally binding dissolve, or, if we continue on the withdrawal pathway personally as a district, then we continue on our pathway of, submitting the non-consensual to the Lake County ROE. So it is an intention, but no, it's not binding. But it needs to be about close enough, because they can't make any forward progress if they don't have the right data.
Sure, districts continue to change their mind.
Correct. Or if districts say we don't know,
Yeah.
that's not necessarily going to help them move the needle. Because if they are going to potentially pursue a reorganization, the question is with who? And if it's with 6 districts, that could look significantly different than if it's with 10.
Kelly, so you mentioned there are 18 districts in the co-op?
Correct.
Okay. Do we know the status of all the 18? Like, did you mention that all 18 have provided some sort of intent to withdraw?
Correct. And maybe Joanna, Mike, John can correct me if I'm wrong. Some have gone as far as we have with the actual proper paperwork, and some have just notified intent.
Yeah, I think for sure it was District 225. I know they might be changing potentially now, but they had intent to withdraw July 1, 2026. We did, as did Bannockburn. And then you're starting to see, a couple of other districts, District 30, for example. It's not a 2026. I believe theirs is 2027, but they are asking districts to vote now. There is still a large number of districts that we have not received their petition to vote on yet.
Okay.
They are all 2027 or after.
Even though we may not have received their petitions at our district level, they've provided to True North.
Yeah, they submitted their intent to
notification.
withdraw.
So my question to you, and you may not have an answer, and that's okay, but if all 18 member districts have an intent to withdraw and
Correct.
True North is looking at a 3-year exit,
Correct.
is that really fair to all the member districts who have provided, every single one of them have provided an intent to withdraw, and yet we are on the hook for the next 3 years?
I sort of see your question, and if I'm answering it wrong, you can stop me. If it is the desire or the majority decision to end the cooperative, that can just be done. We can dissolve. So no, there's no binding to, I apologize. You're referencing the fact that the dissolution plan references 3 years.
Yes, and all the member districts.
I apologize.
100% of the members have said, we
Correct.
want this to dissolve, and True North has a
Thank you.
3-year path.
I clarified the question. Thank
Okay.
you. I feel like I was answering it wrong the first time. The 3-year pathway is done with significant contemplation to impact on staff and students, and recognizing that should the cooperative dissolve tomorrow, the ramifications to student learning and staff would be enormous.
I think the other thing, and Mike, correct me if I'm misspeaking, but I think out of those 18 districts, I think there was a little bit of panic is not the right word, but once everybody starts submitting, I think no one district wanted to be left potentially with significant financial implications.
Correct.
So I do think, what Kelly was getting at earlier, I think there are a number of districts out of that 18 that would very much so potentially like to have some form of the co-op because they need it based on how their students are currently being served. So I think as these conversations continue, some of those 18 districts, yes, they did submit the intent because of concerns about being the only districts left. But I do think there's varying degrees of those who feel like they would really prefer a restructured co-op.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the consideration with not only the staff, the facilities at True North, and most importantly, the students.
Correct.
I think about, as business become insolvent or businesses become bankrupt, it is not a 3-year.
Right.
We are going to whittle this out for 1,000 days. And I just think about the impacts to our community where we have one student being served now.
Yeah.
We pay $1 million a year for our membership fee.
Correct.
On top of the services that we get. It's tough to swallow a little bit because we have been doing so much work over the last 5 years, thanks to John and team, around planning for master facilities and really reducing headcount, looking at expenses. How do we ensure our investments? And it just doesn't settle well that every single member has provided intent to leave, and we have to wait 3 years, and we're on we're paying 3 years.
We won't necessarily, if we, and that decision hasn't been made, but if we continue on this path, we would still be seeking to exit in 2026 regardless of what potentially is happening with the other districts. And it's around $400,000, just so you know, that's our no matter what commitment to True North for membership and such. There are other things that are added on throughout that, but it's a little bit under $500,000. That has been the expectation, and the concern is, that's what initially started with District 34, is as districts withdraw, there would be additional costs that the continuing districts would absorb. So I would anticipate that base lump of money going up.
And I will say, I think it's important to note at the presentation last night, it was said out loud in open session that one of the reasons for not the dissolution timeline, but the aggressive timeline of the reorganization was because there are 3 districts that have indicated July 1st, 2027, and July 1st, 2026. So because ourselves, Bannockburn, and 225 have put that as a potential withdrawal exit date, it is forcing this timeline to condense. If all districts had indicated 2027, they'd have a little bit more time. Granted, there's still a lot of other contemplations, so it's not completely black and white, it's very nuanced, but that was addressed. And then one of the questions I asked, and one of the things we talked about is, should districts consider reorganization? And again, our district hasn't made any formal decisions one way or the other, but should districts consider reorganization for the districts that aren't interested in that, but are willing to be supportive of their member region partners? what would be the right sizing for them, right? If we're saying, if some district says, absolutely, we support your reorganization, that's a wonderful idea, but then this district withdraws, are they assuming all penalties and no benefits of that decision? So that adds to the complications of these conversations. Do you have anything to add? It was a really long meeting last night.
One last question on that. If we get approved to exit July 1st, 2026, there was all this conversation around assets and all of that if True North dissolved fully and how that will be dispersed among the districts. Within this reorganization, it'll be a much smaller group. With the districts that exited earlier, like I guess 34 already has, we might on 26, would we lose out on any of those assets that might be redistributed back that the smaller co-op doesn't necessarily need anymore? Or
At this point, it doesn't look like we would lose a claim on our assets. But it's all very much in flux.
I got one. Can you just remind me what happened with 34? How are they getting out and what process did they use, and is that what we're doing?
We are using a different process than 34. 34 first went through the process that is stipulated in the bylaws, which is request from all districts permission to exit the co-op. It was not unanimous, and so they had to go a non-consensual route. But because they're in Cook County, entirely in Cook County, their appeal after the non-consensual route for them wound up with them presenting to a township board. And that township board granted them permission to exit. That would not be our non-consensual path. Ours would go through the Regional Office of Education. There is a separate group that would, a 7-member panel that would hear our case. They had one a number of years ago. Mundelein was trying to exit CEDAW. Since that time, 6 of the 7 members have changed, and so it's very difficult to know what kind of audience we would have there. But because, as mentioned earlier, we have one student, it would be a very different argument than Mundelein would be making. So 34 has permission to exit, and is it 26 that they exit, right? July 1st, 26 is their exit, right? And so our process would be a 12-month rather than an 18 or 24-month that 34 is exiting. Does that answer your question, Mitch?
Yes, but ours is, they're going for 18 months, but that's.
They started the process earlier than we did.
Got it. So essentially, we're arguing the same thing to a different body, right? Is that they have this township body and we have the same thing, and somebody else is just making the decision.
Or a different county.
Yes. Got it, thank you.
And I just want to clarify something, and I think it's important for our board to contemplate and ask questions about is, the reorg committee, and again, these are just initial ideas, but the reorg committee is referencing right-sizing any payments by withdrawing districts to account for asset retention by smaller cooperative. But they're categorizing that under the long-term reorganization for districts that are staying in 27 or on. We're kind of categorized under the short-term, and they don't currently have any language or have made any notifications about whether or not districts departing early would be right-sized.
So that is the Ray question, and that's why I say things are in a state of flux. This is new news to me. I hadn't heard.
Right, this was literally, this was hot off the press last night. This wasn't existing before yesterday.
would we be able to get, what kind of assets those are, right?
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to answer that right now.
Yeah, I have all the numbers. No, we were very, as a leadership council last night, one of the messages we gave back to the reorg grouping is, it's critically important that our districts have all the data we need to make a thorough and thoughtful decision, which would include liabilities, assets, withdrawal amounts. These are important questions that our board should absolutely contemplate because again, Kate, you referenced, of course, the most critical thing is the care of the students and the continuity of their instruction, but we are also fiscally obligated to pay attention to the money.
What was Mundelein, what was the decision on Mundelein exiting CEDAW?
I believe they were denied.
They were denied.
Yep.
Sorry, what do you mean by assets in this sense?
So the buildings that True North owns, we as member districts have a slice of that asset as a founding member of the cooperative, as well as fund balances and anything like that.
Got
So
it.
if the cooperative were to dissolve, you would take all the liabilities, all the assets, do your math. John, it's easy math, right? Super easy. And then whatever the delta is, and at this point, our CSPO has indicated that the assets outweigh the liabilities,
Okay.
that every district would carve out a little piece proportionate to their general population, I believe is typically how it's done.
But that's the crux of the problem for us.
Meaning,
Every district would be allocated based upon their general population. So we have a larger population from a district standpoint in True North, and that's why we pay the money
Correct.
that we do, and we have one student service.
Yes, the general membership fees are based on your general education enrollment. So obviously, the bigger high school districts, 225,
34 is pretty
113.
big,
Yeah, 34 is big, 112 is bigger than us. But even though we are a small district, we're surprisingly towards the top of those 18 in terms of population.
And so they're going to look at that in the reorg model and rebalance
well,
that. Maybe, maybe not.
yes, but I think it's important to remember that because we have indicated an accelerated timeline, it's possible that we will be considered an exemption to whatever rules they're creating for the rest of the districts that are on the timeline linked to the Articles of
So
Agreement.
now it's punitive.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be
for
interesting
you
to
guys-
determine
yeah.
what they say. To tell you that this was just a brush last night. This was a first swipe. This was and I'm going to say something. The dissolution came first, and there was no requirement or no reason that districts had to step up to the plate and talk about reorganization, but they did. And I applaud the districts that have taken the time and effort to do so. And I
they need
know
the
it's making more work and raising more questions, but I applaud and appreciate what they're doing. And I can't speak to the nuances that they're going to develop between now and this September meeting. No decisions will be made at that first meeting. And myself, Mike, Joanna, we bring everything back to you guys for contemplation.
I think it'll also be really important for us to get that feedback and for you guys as the board to consider if, what they're implying, and I don't know if it'll be feasible, but if they can significantly reduce their administrative costs and really run more of a tuition-based model, meaning that significant chunk of money that we're paying each year, $400,000 or $500,000 would not be the case. And again, I know that's something they're looking at, that then would potentially change, again, I'm not saying which path we would be on, but how we would consider it if it is more tuition-based. So to kind of think what you're getting at, you would be paying more based on what your usage is and not based on your
Correct.
enrollment.
Typical business model.
Like a private
Pay for
business,
what
yeah.
you get versus pay because you've got a lot.
Did True
Right.
North Finances say that they'd give that information hopefully before the September, October?
Yeah, so the vote we did last night is to give parity to the vote we did in June. In June, we voted to authorize the True North Administration and Legal Counsel to engage in conversations regarding orderly dissolution. And the vote last night was to allow True North Legal Counsel Administration to engage in conversations of orderly reorganization, because that's the path we're moving towards, or forking and having two options. So yes, the answer is yes. And these superintendents and these member districts have already subcommitteed and been at work. And now we've authorized our legal and our administration to join forces and provide them any data they require to help put this together. I remain very optimistic that we'll get the information we need, but this is a very tight timeline. So.
Kelly, I have one more comment. I
Yep.
want to thank you for your service on True North.
I'm happy to do it.
With your background and your advocacy, it's awesome, and we're very lucky that you serve both communities. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to do it. Okay, that was a really robust committee report. Oh, I turned my mic off. Is there any other committees that have a report? Okay, Hearing none, we are going to move on to open community participation. We take all public comment very seriously, and while public comment isn't a back and forth, but instead an opportunity for the board to listen, please know that we listen carefully. The second period of community participation near the end of the meeting is open for all matters. If you wish to comment, please fill out a community participation form located on the podium and hand it to Rebecca Rudd. We will call you up one at a time to the podium to speak. Please limit the length of all comments to no more than 3 minutes. Would anyone like to make a public comment? Hi, Becky, do you want to call the first comment?
Hold on just one second. Do you
No
guys
problem.
have forms also? Okay, we'll call Joseph Kopsik first.
Thank you. If you could please state your name when you begin your speaking, thank you so much.
Sure. Joseph Kopsik from Waukegan.
Thank
I grew
you.
up in Lake Forest. If what Nicole Georgia said in March is true, that this whole locker room problem started when the trans student refused to use the designated non-binary bathroom, then the restroom problem has already been solved, and the new problem seems to be that the trans student doesn't want it solved. Still, though, the locker room problem persists, so please build new locker rooms for non-binary students with quality equal to that of boys and girls facilities, so as to avoid any excuse for trans students not to use designated non-binary facilities. Last time I spoke, I left by asking you to look up the phrase forcible transfer of children from one group of people to another. I mention this because it is one of the components of genocide, and because I worry that your staff may have committed it in February. To be clear, I am not directly accusing you of genocide. Rather, I am saying that if children were an ethnic group, then the Illinois Democrats, the people who want you to enforce this locker room policy, would arguably be complicit in genocide, and so might you, by extension, for helping to enforce it, rather than exercising your natural right to conscientiously object to traumatizing children as part of your jobs. To review, since you caused children to fall into the custody of at least 3 strangers, you arguably committed unlawful detention, or at least it would be if you weren't public officials, and possibly even kidnapping, because transfer that happens without parental knowledge cannot possibly be consensual on the part of either the parents or the child. So if it's not consensual, then it's coercive, and therefore covertly forcible. I submit that this is the same type of forcible transfer of children which the definition of genocide describes, hence my concern. So I will now cite the Cornell Law School's Law Dictionary to defend my argument and reference portions of the definition of genocide. Genocide must be against an ethnicity or a protected group. Now, bear with me, children could be considered an ethnicity because it is not strictly a racial or genetic concept because it includes religion. It just means people have a common custom. So child's play arguably qualifies them for that. But even if they're not an ethnicity, they're still vulnerable, and that's why they're a protected class. Because the case of Troxel v. U.S. affirms that child custody is conditional upon not abusing the child. And parents likewise have the protected right to retain custody provided they refrain from abusing their kids. And the state is a protected class because of 11th Amendment sovereign immunity. So then, if these are all protected classes, it wouldn't be out of line to suggest that these children were forcibly transferred from one protected group of people, parents, to another protected group of people, the school, which is part of the state, in a way that comports with the definition of genocide. I don't know how many of you support the use of potentially sterilizing chemicals on trans children, but if you do, and you also support forcible transfer, then who's doing the real genocide here of trans kids or cis kids, gay kids, whatever it is? Who are the real Nazis? There's more than one theory about who that is. Stop enforcing the locker room policy. Use the course as
Thank you for your comment. Becky, are there additional public comments tonight?
Yes, next we'll call Erica Hornthal.
Thank you. Would you mind just stating your name when you come up to the microphone? I appreciate it.
Members of the board, my name is Erica Hornthal. I've been a resident here for 13 years. I have a 6th grader at Caruso and a kindergartner at Wilmot. I come to you not only as a concerned parent, but also as a practicing psychotherapist in the community, eager to address a missing piece to the puzzle of our community's social and emotional well-being. The concern I wish to bring to your attention this evening is around the lack of unstructured movement and play opportunities at our local middle schools. When visiting them for DYBSA softball games over the last few years, it's always puzzled me that neither Shepherd nor Caruso have any climbing equipment. It most recently came to my attention that these schools actually don't even have recess, which might make sense as to why no climbing equipment seems necessary. Upon entering middle school, it's made clear that there will be more responsibility and academic rigor, while simultaneously taking away a natural outlet to release the increased pressure and stress these young bodies take on. The saber-toothed tigers of yesterday are today's homework, social media, and cyberbullying. With the, quote, conveniences of modern day, play is greatly needed to support these developing nervous systems in managing stress and behavioral needs. What may seem like frivolous play apparatuses are actually vital tools for our children's social, emotional, and psychological development. For example, climbing doesn't just build strength and coordination. The cross-lateral motion supports development of critical thinking and decision-making. Hanging or swinging supports balance and core strength, which actually also supports development of identity and morals and belief systems. Standing while talking not only supports social skills, but conflict resolution, as well as opportunities for empathy and connection. Play or unstructured time teaches that there's more to life than productivity. There's value to being in the moment, encouraging mindfulness, a sense of self, and healthy boundaries. One counter-argument may be that there's more opportunity for organized sports and physical activity, or that students have demanding extracurricular activities outside of school. Perhaps it's seen as the students' or the parents' role to create more unstructured time outside of academics, but we know that isn't happening. Most students are sitting on devices and overscheduled without any downtime, both of which lead to an uptick in anxiety and depression. As a dance movement therapist, my work focuses on the intersection of movement and mental health. I understand that organized athletic sports, structured extracurricular activities, and PE serve a much different purpose than exercise for mental health. The competitive and performative nature of many of these don't provide the necessary outlet for stress release. I also know that our emotions don't simply exist in our head or heart, but in the gut and the hips. So when we encourage our students to sit for most of the day, we're literally asking them to sit on their emotions, denying them of any potential to move through challenging feelings. For a district focused most of the last year on the anxious generation, a major part missing from the discussion was HATE's power of not just limiting screens and devices, but in allowing for more play and unstructured movement. Let's join districts in implementing perhaps longer periods of lunch to accommodate time for recess and unstructured.
Thank you very much. Becky, any more
Next-
public comment?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we'll call Kimberly Laughlin next. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could just state your name in the microphone when you start, please. Thank you.
I'm taller. My name is Kimberly Laughlin. I'm actually going to start with my ending, just so it doesn't get cut off. I would like confirmation from the district that the Olson contract for school buses also has a provision open if changes such as school bus seatbelts are required, just like they had a provision open for the electric buses if advances are there. I've been told that it's a solid contract and it's not part of the contract, but if that's different, then like the email spoke today, then I'd like to know that information. To go backwards, my name is Kimberly Laughlin. I'm a lifelong resident in the district, attended all district schools, worked for 109 for a bit, and now have a child going through the district schools. I'm both a child passenger safety technician with a school bus endorsement, and part of my day job is helping out in child passenger safety. I am here as a private citizen, however, and not for the agencies I contract with. All of you have met me, but I presume most of the new board members have not been here when I addressed the board or seen emails I've sent over the last 3 years regarding school bus safety. So a brief history for their behalf. Since at least 2015, Deerfield schools had a stipulation in their school bus contract requiring lap belts. Ken Ashman came on the school board in 2015 and started a yearly campaign to up that to lap and shoulder belts and for a policy to wear. A few years later, Lauren Rifkin and his family continued that campaign, and he as well attended meetings and got involved and even got him to join the caucus. Fast forward a few years after that, and I came onto the scene, asking for the exact same thing, except since I work in a world with lots of national safety experts, I thought I could do more. We discussed the possibility of me volunteering time to create a safety video on seatbelts for the students to watch. But in the end, I was asked by the administration to work with the Senator Morrison and try to create a school bus bill that would both require enforcement as well as lap and shoulder belts. With her help and Representative Morgan's help, another Deerfield dad, by the way, the lap and shoulder belt bill got passed. I'll note it started out as a stronger bill, asking for a start date of 2027 and for districts to have a usage policy in place, but big lobbyists like the Illinois Association of School Boards and Illinois Association of School Administrations got involved and weakened the bill. It got pushed further out to 2031, and seatbelt usage is no longer a part of it. But either way, we celebrated, and that bill was signed into law this month. You can only imagine my shock when my son came home without seatbelts on his bus. I learned that at the March 13th meeting, the new 5-year contract was discussed, but the removal of seatbelts was not part of the open meeting. Excuses I've been told, it's a liability concern. This is not the case. You've received a legal analysis today, I know. I've also been told that Olson historically had trouble sending replacement buses with lap belts when ones broke down. That is neither a me problem or a you problem. That is a them problem. If Olson Bus did not have sufficient working buses to meet your contract before, they were in breach. And to let you more about Olson Bus, through my conversations with the higher-ups over the years, they do not like having seatbelts. They spouted misinformation to me time and again about how troublesome seatbelts are. They were incredulous when I told them a seatbelt bill had passed, and they were very happy to tell me when I asked about why there were no seatbelts on my buses this week, that no, luckily Deerfield no longer has that part of the contract.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate your time tonight and your communication.
My son is actually continuing.
Okay. Becky, do you?
Yes, we'll
Thank
call
you.
Riley Laughlin, please.
Okay, thank you. Riley, you can bend the mic down so we can hear you real nice and good, okay? Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Riley Laughlin. I'm a student at Shepherd. I was in 2 school bus crashes on camp buses, one right here in downtown Deerfield. Please don't weaken our safety. Olson Bus doesn't have the greatest track record. Just 2 weeks after the district excitedly discussed how Olson came into with the lowest bid, Olson got into a heap of trouble with the press. A school in Wakanda had used School Tours of America for a trip. Tours of America contacted with Olson. Olson secretly subcontracted with another outfit. That driver didn't even have a driver's license, let alone a CDL. School Tours of America and Wakanda schools have ceased all future contacts with Olson over it. You can read the story here. Olson has purchased new buses this year from Thomas Built Buses. Thomas Built are traditionally 30 to 40% more expensive than the nearest competitors. One of those competitors is Bluebird. Since last year, Bluebird buses have put lap and shoulder belts free of charge standard on all buses. Olson went out of their way to buy buses that were much greater in cost that didn't include seatbelts. Please remember this is in the future. My safety is at risk. You've put all of my classmates at greater risk.
Thank you, Riley. We appreciate you speaking tonight. Becky, are there any other public comments? Okay. Thank you to those that spoke. Sorry, I put my agenda away. Because I was writing on it. I was like, how is that not on the last page? I was writing on it. Next up is 12, Board Superintendent Other. Mr. Simic?
Yeah, I have one. Again, like to say thanks to the executive leadership team and all the folks that work with them. It was a huge team effort to begin a school year. It's about a 500-person wedding that goes on for the entire year, and there's a lot of preparation that leads into that. It's an enormous collective project that takes place over the entire summer, and it started with a great deal of enthusiasm, and I can't imagine actually a better start to the school year. So thrilled to see that, and also like to say thanks to Kelly. It's the definition of grace under fire, showing leadership and also incredible service to the community and dedication to an organization that's trying to find its way. Thank you.
Of course. And I echo Mike's sentiments. Thank you to the administration for an excellent back-to-school week. On behalf of all the parents of Deerfield, thank you for taking our kids back. Much appreciated. Anything else? Okay. Hearing none, may I please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
May I please have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. The meeting is adjourned at 8:14 PM. Thank you.